As you already know, I'm the mighty Fabled. I am the most powerful discarding deck of all time. But I should do more than just brag. I should go over my cards. We're a group of light monsters. We have different levels. We are either beast or fiend monsters. We're a synchro deck, so we rely on our tuners as well. We have a wide range of attack and defense points, and we rely on a lot of discarding effects. Like this card, when it's discarded to the graveyard, you can special in face down defense position. When this card is flipped face up, you can reveal one Fabled monster in your hand. Send one Fabled monster from your deck to your graveyard. And next one, oh, and by the way, that's a Beast Tuner. Our next one is also a Beast Tuner. Makes it so during my main phase, I can read this effect. Then, activating the effect, semicolon, then my opponent's allowed to respond. Now, I discard a card, and special summon this. So even my opponent negates it, I lose no resources. Our next card, Fiend. Not a tuner. Discard it, we special summon it. This is mandatory, by the way, unlike this one. Now, next one, another Fiend. All of these so far have been level 1. If I control 2 or more cards, my opponent has 2 or more cards than me in their hand, I can reveal one Fabled monster in my hand and tribute this face-up card. Select 2 spell trap cards my opponent controls, destroy them. Meaning, my opponent must have at least 3 cards in their hand for me to use this effect. This card must be in my field, and I have to have one Fabled in my hand. That's the one card I need. So my opponent must have 3 cards or more in their hand, and at least 2 cards face down. So they're probably playing a trap deck. So you're telling me against a trap deck, they're gonna have cards in their hand? A lot of them? Yeah, I don't think so. Next one is a Beast Tuner, level 1. If this card is discarded, target one face-up card in the field, destroy it. Targeting is for cost. Oh, and by the way, it's mandatory, so if we are the only one with cards in the field, we're out of luck. We've destroyed our own cards. Next one, not a Beast Tuner, but still a tuner. Level 2 now. If this card is... I can send it from my hand to the graveyard, target a non-tuner Fabled monster, and it's treated as a tuner, while facing the field. Next monster, Fiend Tuner. Once per turn, we can send one other card from our hand to the graveyard, special one level 3 Fabled monster from our hand. So, this card on the field gets us an effect. Okay. Being a tuner, if we summon a level 3, we can sink it to a 5. Alright. That sounds pretty cool. Except that we're losing card advantage. We're going neg 1. Sure, we get a resource on field, but we'll lose a resource in total. Oh, and it sends to the graveyard, not discard. So, of all of our effects that worry about getting discard, don't work here. Another one of our Beast Tuners that worries about getting discarded is Fabled Cerberus. Pretty famous, is it not? It's on another card. Have you ever heard of it? Obedience School? Yeah. Discard it, special summon it. We got this thing. Level 2 Beast Tuner. Makes so this card is in my graveyard. I can discard one Fabled monster, and if I do special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. That's a hard once per turn, by the way. Next one. This card is discarded. Oh, this is one of our fiends, by the way. Level 2 Fiend. If this thing is discarded, we target a level 4 or lower Fabled monster on a graveyard, special summon that target. Not once per turn revival of the monster. That's actually pretty cool. We're gonna revive a monster to our field forever, as long as it's level 4 or lower, which is a good portion of our monster. So next one, during the main phase, you can discard one Fabled monster, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. When this card special summon this way, special summon level 2 or lower Fabled monster from your hand. This thing is a beast, non-tuner, level 2. So, this card is on our field. So we lose a card in our hand. Special summon this card from our hand. Okay, so we're going -1 on card advantage, but its other part of its effect brings back a monster we just discarded. And it discards, not sent to the graveyard. Big difference. So if we discard for, say, Fabled Cerberus, we can get that resource back. And we get another resource from our graveyard back. pretty good. Maybe one card can get us into 3 cards. Although, it'll struggle a little bit. Next one, Ravens. Group of these are pretty unkind. Loses just 1 per turn, you can discard any number of cards. Yep. This card gains a level and 4 attack for every card discarded until the end of the turn. Next one, oh, by the way, that was a level 2 Bean Tuner. The next one, a level 3 Bean Tuner. This card's pretty important. This card sort of makes the rest of the deck work. You'll see why. If this card is in my graveyard, I can discard any Fabled monster, except a copy itself, and add it to my hand. If you're wondering why this makes the deck work, so let's say we had a card that said, send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard, and then do stuff. Well, we send this from our hand to the graveyard. We do not discard it, which is important because stuff like Fabled Cerberus needs to be discarded. Then we activate this card's effect in the graveyard. It does not worry about. It says if this card is in your graveyard, not if this card is sent to your graveyard, or if this card is discarded. So what it actually does is it's a separate effect. It does not go on the chain. We have this card, we activate its effect, we discard a card, add this back to our hand. This can be done as much as we want. So, what we just did is we turn a send effect into a discard effect. Pretty important, is it not? The next one, level 3 feet non-tuner. When a Fabled monster is sent from your hand to the graveyard, you contribute this card. Select that monster, special summon it from your graveyard. So, effectively, we can take any of our discards into a summon a monster. We do lose a monster on our field, though. One thing we don't want to summon with it is this thing, who is in effect being a beast level 3 non-tuner. If this card is discarded, you special summon it and it gains 200 attack, becoming an 1800 beater. But we banish it when it leaves the field. Not bad. Next one, level 4 beast tuner. When this face-up card is selected for an attack, you can discard 1 Fabled monster to get the attack. Oh, going back into discarding effects. Okay, so we discard this, we get out of other monsters. I don't know. I'm always going to suggest always playing at Fabled Cerberus. But we also have this card. A level 4 Fiend Tuner, non-tuner. When we have 2 or less cards in our hand, all Fabled monsters gain 4 an attack. This guy becomes a 1900 beater. Effectively, we can start discarding our entire hand and have this thing pretty powerful. This reminds me a lot of what was that deck. Infernities, bunch of fiends, they don't want cards in their hand. Yeah. Well, what about you? This card makes so you can discard 1 card to your graveyard, then destroy one face up card your monster your opponent controls with defense less than or equal to this card's attack. So, if our opponent has a monster with 1500 or less defense, we can destroy it by discarding a card. It's not once per turn, and it does not say the monster's be in defense position. So, we can just start destroying our opponent's monsters pretty easily. Although, we go card neutral, and we can't always destroy every card our opponent has. Our next monster, when this card is involved with an attack, we send during either player's turn. During damage calculation, we send 1 card from our hand to the graveyard, once per battle, and we gain 6 on attack. This sends does not discard, so we don't get any discarding effects. So this card effectively becomes a 22. Yes, a 2200 beater during the damage calculation only, by losing a resource. So if our opponent attacks us, they're pretty dumb, because they already know what this card does. Your opponent's reading your cards, right? Always read your opponent's cards. Alright? Our next monster, level 4, non-tuner fiend. We can discard up to 2 monsters, except copies of itself. Special summon this thing from our hand. One of those cards we discard must be a Fabled, and we gain 200 attack for every card discarded to summon it. So we can gain 400 attack, and you want to do some math? 17 plus 2, that's 19. So at minimum we're 19. Then we can add another 2 to that. We got 21. So we have a 2100 beater, and if it's discarded, we can add any Fabled Spire Trap from our deck to our hand. We have 2. But we should look at this card instead. Level 4 Fiend makes it so control a Fabled monster. We can send this card from our hand to the graveyard, and if we do, and add any Fabled monster to our hand, except a copy of itself. Next monster makes so this This card is destroys an opponent's monster by battling it, sends it to the graveyard. You can discard one fiend monster, draw one card. So, go for discard. After we destroy opponent's monster by battling, send it to the graveyard. With a 1700 beater. By the way, this is one of our level 4 beasts. It'll draw a card. By discarding a card, it doesn't worth it to me. The next card, it's like the last monster in the main deck. This card is in your graveyard. You can send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, except copies of itself. Special summon this card. You send them for a cost, by the way. Then, you special summon it. So, effectively, it's a light deck, so if our opponent had, let's say, any of the Bystials, I don't know why anyone's playing those, except for, like, I don't know, Dragon Link. They get rid of this card. We doesn't really get someone to our field. Well, time to go over the last card. Now here's a big monster. One of a level 8 fiend. It's so powerful. Its effect. Well, first let's start by, if you want to tribute summon it, you can use any face-up. You can use face-up attack position. You can tribute any one Fabled monster. First tribute summon. Pretty powerful. You can even, once per turn, the first opponent normal spell card effect to resolve becomes your opponent discards 1 card. I'm the opponent, so I discard 1 card. Wait, what? Is that it? This is the first one? My opponent can just, like, not activate the card they need. Alright, fine. What about Stairway to the Fabled Realm? Well, when it's activated, we send 1 Fabled monster from our deck to our graveyard. We send this card. What else do we got? You can target 1 Fabled monster in your graveyard, discard 2 cards, and if you do, add that card to your hand. So, we might be able to go get a card to our hand and get rid of cards. Go get some card advantage. You can only do that once per turn, however. If a Fabled monster attacks an opponent's monster, and if you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, your monster gains attack equal to the difference in both of our hands multiplied by 200. So my opponent has 5 cards, I have none, I gain 1000 attack. During damage collection only. We can only activate 1 of these cards per turn. So if this was somehow destroyed, it's gone forever. Our last card is our trap card. We can target 1 Fabled monster in graveyard and 1 face-up card in opponent controls. Semicolon. Our opponent can now do whatever they want. If they somehow got their monster off the field or got rid of my card in the graveyard, whatever. I now discard a card. And if I do, especially summon that monster from the graveyard, and if I do that, destroy that card in the field. I'm going to activate 1 of these per turn. So, it's like a Monster Reborn mixed in, I don't know, instant destruction mixed in with discarding outlet. So we get to revive monsters, which it does not say as long as it's a Fable, so it could be an extra deck monster too, as long as it was properly summoned first. Not bad, is it? What is bad is some of our Synchro monsters. This one, Beast Synchro, level 4. If we have 0 cards, it gains effects based on the number of cards in our hand. If we have 0, it can boost for battle card effect. If we have 3 or more, once per turn during the end phase, we destroy this card. The Fabled Unicorn, being a beast as well, is much better. Well, me and my opponent have the same number of cards in our hand, negate all card effects activated by our opponent. And if you do, destroy those cards. So if I had 3 cards in my hand, and my opponent had 3 cards in their hand, my opponent just can't do anything. Well, technically speaking, this card has a couple flaws in it. If my opponent just so happened to normal summon a monster, now they don't have 3 cards in their hand. If my opponent activates the spell card, they don't have 3 cards in their hand anymore. Yeah, if everyone had 4 cards in their hand, activate the spell card, we're fine. Our next monster makes it so. Well, by the way, I should mention, all the monsters are pretty generic, except the tuner has to be a Fabled tuner. The other cards can be whatever I want. This card makes it. Our next Synchro Fiend, by the way. When this card is Synchro summoned, you can draw until you have 2 cards in your hand. If we have no cards in our hand, it's a +2. If we have 1 card in hand, it's +1. Whatever. Also, we got and right? Okay, that's a weird name. If this card is synchro summoned, your opponent can't discard a card to negate this. Or we draw 2 cards and discard 1. So our opponent could either get rid of 1 card in their hand and we go +1 card advantage, or we draw 2 and discard 1, which we go +1 card advantage. Either way, we're going +1 card advantage. Oh, and by the way, if a monster is sent from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, special summon it to your hand, but negates effect. Special summon it to your field, but negates effects. You're going to use each effect once per turn. So, if our opponent wanted to discard and negate our effect, we take their monster. Or, let's say our opponent used a bunch of cards in the hand to discard. We get to take their monster. And now our second to last card. Before the ultimate monster we have. This card makes so once per turn we can discard a fiend monster to draw 1 card. And now it's time for me. Fabled Leviathan. I'm a level 10 synchro monster. Ugh. By the way, all of our other monsters, we got a level 5, we got a level 6, we got a level 8, got some 2 level 4s. My effect, however, when I'm destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I can take target 3 fabled monsters in my graveyard and add them to my hand. Wait, really? Is that all the boss monster does? Okay, come on. So it's a when effect, so it can miss timing. It's not mandatory. Well, what kind of fabled deck look like? Well, it can look like this. 41 cards. Pretty snazzy. Because I would say if I had access to other cards like Dangers, it could be even better. Let's do a little quick test hand so I can show you what this deck can do. Oh, it's loading. With this mighty hand, I will claim utter and complete victory. I activate one of my monster's effect. I'll discard Fabled Cerberus and this thing. Ugh. So I can summon my new monster, become 2100 attack points. I activate the Fabled Cerberus and my other monster, both mandatory effects by the way, summoning them both to my field. Next, because I control a monster, Fabled Monster Pacific, I'll discard this, so I can activate its mighty effect. And what effect would that be? I add a new card to my hand. And why not? Let's go for a real quick synchro summon. As just so happens I have 6 levels worth I can use on my field. I'll activate monster's effect. My opponent will discard a card to negate it. Unfortunately for them, I am going to steal their monster. It is mine now. And it just so happens I have a level 2 tutor in my hand. I'll summon it. But I won't go into me. I do not need that power yet. I'll go into whatever this thing is, so I can discard 1 card to draw a card. And now I add stairway to my hand. If you're wondering, trying to get me to use Beaver, letting me discard a card. And summon this. And why not take this? Use its effect. What are we saying in the graveyard? I don't know. Maybe the one monster that actually works in the graveyard? And now I think it's time to go for a Leviathan. In turn. Yeah, we didn't really do much, did we? We summoned, I don't know, what, 3,000 attack point monsters? Yeah, that's pretty lame, being completely honest. Yeah, I have no idea I'm gonna win this little tournament of ours. Although, I could just play better and hope everyone else is worse than me. But what else can let me win is you drawing that subscribe button. See if you can top deck the bell and that notification be turned on. And maybe even send the like button to the graveyard by hitting it too many times. Bye.